Buddy, it is 6:30 on Wednesday, January 14th, and this is a meeting of the Finance Committee. And to my left is the Vice Chair, Mike Sullivan, and to his left is Meg McGrath Smith, the City Councilor for Ward 7. To my right is City Councilor from Ward 6, Juan Anderson Burgos, and next to him on his right is Nicole Miss Onette. And we are also being, we're on Channel 15, Holyoke Media, and we do have an interpreter. So I would like to start by taking up item number 1. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Does anybody have any questions about the minutes of the December 8th, 2025 meeting? If not, then I'll,
Motion to approve?
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll have item 2. Sean, if you would like to come in, I'm going to ask for a motion to do item 2, item 3, and
package?
item 4 is a package.
So
yes.
moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so item number 2, order that the city appropriate the amount of $636,812, which is in addition to the $4,498,497 previously appropriated for the purpose of paying cost of replacement of the Elmer McMahon Elementary School roof. And then item number 3 is that the city appropriate the amount of $5,753,418.00 for the purpose of paying costs of partial roof replacement and code required upgrades at the Morris A. Donahue Elementary School. And item number 4, ordered that the city appropriate the amount of $6,739,962.00 for the purpose of paying costs of partial roof replacement and code required upgrades at the Lieutenant Claire Sullivan Middle School. So we have those read, and if Sean Sheehy, if you'll introduce yourself and tell us about these orders.
Yeah, so thank you, Madam Chair. Hello, everybody. My name is Sean Sheedy. I'm the Director of Facilities and Maintenance for the Holyoke Public Schools. Some of you know me and some are new, so it's great to meet you, and I look forward to working with everybody this new year. So the first order is for McMahon School. The additional appropriation, the $636,000, is for the additional square footage that was missed. The only thing, and I see Rory is over there, under what bond council approved, Rory, says $30,000 or 30,000 square feet, but in fact, it should read 49,641 square feet. So I don't know if we need to make that correction before it goes to, after this, and it goes to before city council. We should definitely insert that in there, just so it's correct, because the MSBA did flag that and say, make sure that it has the correct square footage.
Okay, and I will introduce Rory Casey, who is here as the treasurer, and also City Solicitor Mike Bissonette is on Zoom. So Rory, is there anything you'd like to add?
I would just say for that particular thing, the committee could, well, actually, the committee can't. So what I would say is that we'll have the proper square footage. That's what was given to us. So bond, that's not material as far as what the bond council would say, but Sean is absolutely correct. MSBA is very particular about the language. We'll want to have that in there. What we'll do is we'll introduce on Tuesday night, this conversation can continue on like we've done with many other kind of financial orders, as folks that are new to the committee may not know. Only the mayor can change a financial order. It can't happen at the council level. So this particular change of the square footage, we'll just submit new language on Tuesday night. And if it's the will of the body to pass these, they'll have that language in front of them for Tuesday.
Counselor Sullivan?
Yeah, I would have a question for Attorney Bissonette on this.
Hey, Counselor.
Hi, Mike. As far as only the mayor being able to amend the order, I think, doesn't that just apply to the financial, dollar amount? Wording just for something, almost a Scribner error or something as far as just the square footage, a description in the order. Couldn't we just do that right here?
Yes.
Well, if I could, I'll also ask if it's all right through the chair, just so we're clear. So the actual language, they're gonna look at the actual original order that was put on their first agenda. They're gonna look at what was submitted at subcommittee meeting, and then they're gonna look at what was fully voted on. And so that's where those changes, like we've done before, Counselor Sullivan, you've seen it where we've had to change the dollar amount, we've had to change very small things. We just introduced new language at the following meeting so that it's nice and clean. That's what the bond council will be looking for. It's what the rating agencies and the state, when they ultimately approve this, will require. If we could do it as simple as you're suggesting, I'd be more than happy to. It'll save a lot of time. But I just want to make sure we do it right.
Well, that's why I'm asking Mike for an opinion. I think we can, but
Counselor, if I can follow up, you definitely can make the change. The problem is whether or not MSBA and its wisdom will accept it. And I'm going to go along with Rory on this simply because the last time we had to do something with MSBA on this, we just did a new order. And there was no problem getting it through. So I think that would be the best way to do it. And for purposes of clarity, perhaps a motion from the committee recommending that a new order be drafted containing the amendment to the square feet. And then the auditor and Rory can go ahead and put that in.
okay.
Before I ask for that motion, does anybody else has any questions? Counselor McGrath-Smith?
Thank you. My only question was, in the documents that went to MSBA itself, because they didn't have the correct square footage originally, there was something in the email chain that discussed there potentially being a meaning that like the project may not get that full 80% reimbursement because it's effectively a little bit of a higher cost.
Yeah, so because of the dollar amount that was already approved from the board for that, they won't reimburse for that 636. It's unfortunate, but ultimately the MSBA wants everything to line up. And we just actually received all of the bid results, and it's way under budget. So the 636 is not even in play. It's just we have to account for it. Everything has to be on there.
So even though it's because the bids are coming underneath, even though there was the square footage issue, we're still going to come underneath the 80% and not be expected, for example, to come up with an additional funding from the city side on top of it.
That's right. And the MSBA only reimburses for what the project turns out for, right? We do the initial estimation, we do the schematic design, and the designers and the estimators come up and say, it's going to cost you $12.9 million. We have to bond and secure that whole package. But then once everything comes in and you have significant bid savings, all of that information then gets sent to the MSBA, and then we adjust the total amounts. So that's the only part that we would get, that they would do the grant for. And then it would be our 80% reimbursement based on that total of the project. So they're not gonna give us, what's this one for? What's our total reimbursement, max grant? So, what do we got? So, our maximum grant is 3.2 million, and the total project is 4.4. So in reality, that 3.2 will kind of get adjusted based on bid savings and everything like that, and that's what it would come in at. So they're not going to give us more money, and then we have like all that free cash. The bid savings then goes to the contingency. So we have to write a letter through solicitor's office stating that we would like to either give it back, and if we give it back, then we don't have access to it anymore, or we put it into the contingency for things that pop up during, you know, if we have to do more masonry or something to that effect. So it just goes into contingency, and then at the end of the project, after the 10 months commissioning and everything gets submitted, they review the change orders. And if everything lines up, they'll reimburse even further.
Thank you. Was the square footage missed, like an exterior building or?
Yeah, so I think the original numbers that we had and then, and that were submitted, that's where the difference was. And then when we did the actual 360-degree scans with the modern camera systems and everything, and that actual square footage was captured, that's where the discrepancy happened, and the original was under, about 10,000 square feet under.
You all set? So what we're looking to do, if I'm correct, Rory and Sean, is that we're looking for a motion to amend the square footage?
No.
No? What?
We're
Counselor
looking to
Anderson
motion
Burgos?
to, that a new order be filed to represent the new square footage.
Yeah.
But my concern or my question is, do we withdraw this order that's before us? Attorney Bissonette, question for you, if you heard me.
You can, it has no, there's nothing to that order that's going to make it passable. So you can leave it on the table for now and dispose of it at your next meeting if you'd like. Or you can send it back to the auditor.
I send
Is
it
that
back to the auditor.
recommendation?
Yeah, I'd motion to send it back to the auditor.
Second.
Okay, in 1 second. I see Sharon on Zoom. Sharon, is there anything the auditor would like to say? And also, I'd like to welcome Counselor Israel Rivera as well.
Good evening, councilors. I defer to Rory as he has way more experience with the bond language than I do. If he feels that we should submit a new order, then that's the direction we should go. And I would suggest sending this one back to the auditor if everyone agrees.
Can I ask a question then? Would this also refer to item 3 and 4?
Are there any issues on the square footage in those orders? No?
No, those are okay. It's
And
just
what's
item.
the correct square footage?
It's 49,641.
641.
49,641.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to send item 2 back to the auditor?
That was my motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Yeah, he seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, everybody, for that
So,
information.
Motion to have a new order filed so that it'll reflect the correct square footage. We have to vote on that. Can I get a
Is
second?
there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we'll have a new order filed. And who will do that? Jeffrey?
I'm
Oh, Rory will do that?
I'm typing it up as we speak, and I'll send it to the auditor and the mayor. It'll be on your agenda for next week.
Modern technology. Thank you, Rory. Okay, thank you, Juan.
Of course.
So, item number 2, or is it 3? Yeah, item number 3.
Motion to take up item 3?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And that was the one for Morris Donahue Elementary School, $5,753,418.00. So, Sean, would you like to talk about that one?
Yeah, so, as you can see on the first, after the order page, the next one, shows the letter of acceptance from the MSBA, and it shows our maximum total facilities grant. And then you have, if you keep going, then it shows the spreadsheet, and this spreadsheet is just a snippet of the larger 3011. It's just easier to look at this because this is where the meat and potatoes are on the spreadsheet. So as you can see, we'll get a maximum facilities grant of 4.4 million, and the total project is 5.7 million. So it comes out to the 80%, and then you have some of your contingency in there, and then, like I talked about, when you do have bid savings down the road, you end up just putting that towards further into the contingency. And then ultimately at the end, the MSBA will reimburse for the full project, including change orders, just so long as everything aligns with the project itself. And I just want to kind of go back to 2024, when we did 4 projects. We did 3 roofs, 3 windows and doors, and we did the new boilers at Dean. We get an 80% reimbursement rate based on our demographics, our economy, right, everything. But sometimes with change orders and different things, the rate can kind of fluctuate. And those 4 projects that we did, they averaged out to 79.6 reimbursement rate. So we get that at around that 10-month mark when we do commissioning and we're doing final payouts and everything like that. So yes, it is 80%, but sometimes it fluctuates just a little bit. But normally for us, we come in right at that 80%. So it's a good coupon to have, and a lot of other communities don't get that. Some communities don't even get it. So for us here in Holyoke, we're very, very fortunate to be able to get that 80% from them for ARP projects.
Okay.
Core projects like remodeling, Peck School, for example, it's a little bit different of a rate, but ARPs, the Accelerator Repair Program, we're right at our 80%.
Okay.
So this one here, this is for the partial roof at Donahue. We already did the other half of that back in 2022. And with this, we're getting a roof, plus we're getting bathroom renovations, we're getting door handles, we're getting an electric wheelchair lift for the stage, widening doors, handrails, all of the accessibility that the school requires for students and staff to be able to use in a modern building get upgraded as part of this. So because we go over a certain threshold of the total cost of the building, I think it's only 12 point. 30% rule. Yeah, exactly. So we qualify for that, and MSBA now reimburses for that. In the past, they never did that, so you'd have to do these upgrades, but you wouldn't get reimbursed. So now we're getting reimbursed for doing all this accessibility plus the roof. So it's all good things for us within the district. And they're all needed, right? All of these things are needed. Some of them require an upgrade of the fire alarm. So it's not just like door handles and bathrooms. You have to upgrade the fire alarm system and audibles and different things. So it's really good that it plays into being able to do the roof also. And then this one for Donahue will snowball into, I have up and coming to do the remaining windows and doors. And after that, we qualify for heat pumps for Donahue School, which will be a little bit down the road, but another MSBA project I'll go for, to be able to convert that school to heat pump, to a modern HVAC system. So all good things in doing the roof and then doing the remaining windows and doors, and then we can be able to do that, so.
Counselor McGrath-Smith.
Thank you. And if I could, through the chair to Sean Sheedy, one of my questions is, I'm very excited about the amount of investment that we've done over the last 3 years. But by my count, we've done 8 out of 12 of our schools in terms of these bigger projects, or 7, and then plus the new middle school. How long will these roofs last? And will we have to do them all again? Sort of all of a sudden we have to batch doing 2/3 of our school roofs all within 2 or 3 years, whenever that life cycle ends. Because I know we're clustering investment because we're prioritizing it, but I'm also worried about what happens if they only last 15 years or 20 years, and now we have to do all of them again at the same time.
Yeah, and so it's kind of bittersweet where back in 1995, the city and the district did a ton of roofs in 95. And so once you're past your 25-year mark, then we qualify for MSBA to be able to do the roofs. So that's kind of why a lot of them are syncing up right now. In this case, we get a 20-year warranty, manufacturer warranty. Obviously, you get your 1-year warranty with the contractor after it's done. After the 1 year of commissioning says that it's good to go, then you still get your 1 year. So in reality, you almost get 2 years of labor for free, right? If anything happens, then the clock starts ticking on that. Then you have your 20-year manufacturer warranty. And with our service contractors, via the specs we write, the service contractor has to be able to enter a claim for us. So whenever they go up on a roof and a seam has failed or anything like that, they go after the manufacturer for us, and that will be paid for free. If a tree branch goes through it in 10 years, well, we can't necessarily have them, they're not going to pay for that. But seams failing or the product fails or anything like that. So you have a hefty warranty. And once it's a modern PVC roof, which is what these will be, it has a longer lifespan. And then you can also make repairs that are not a hodgepodge repair like you do on a lot older roofs. So you can, once this is done, you in theory could patch this thing for the rest of our lives with the same product that'll last 20 to 30 years, or even longer, 50 years, right? So you can keep repairing it. But in these cases, for these, there's a lot of repairs, there's a lot of leakage that's been identified, in not just in the roof itself, but going up the walls where you have masonry, and that masonry is not protected. So if you get a sideways rain, that rain just pours into a building. Where now, with the way we do it now, you run that roofing all the way up there. So any sideways rain, snow drifts, stuff like that can't penetrate into the schools. So something that was 1960 when we built it wasn't identified. We now identify that and then go ahead and fix it and make it so it won't continue to leak.
Thank you.
Counselor Sullivan?
Yeah, Rory, could you tell me, regarding our projected debt service on
Yes,
this?
sir.
How do we come up with a number for projected debt service when we don't have a bond rating right now?
We do have a bond rating, but this is actual projected debt service that we currently have. So this is borrowings that we currently have. This is the existing debt service, so, everything that we've bonded for, roads, sidewalks, vehicles, fire trucks, dump trucks, the science lab at the high school, projects from 20 years ago. That starts to trail off, and then, of course, we've got the PEC project that is part of that as well. So the reason it's projected is rather than existing is just because the PEC project itself hasn't fully been closed out. So as we discussed multiple times, been in front of this committee on that project, we used extremely conservative estimates of around 5.5% interest rate over 30 years. As Sean mentioned, that's one of the projects that's come in drastically under budget, but that does not necessarily get incorporated. We kept those same conservative estimates until it goes out to long-term debt.
Okay, so I understand about the past stuff, but this is all new debt going forward.
No, what you're talking about tonight is new debt going forward, and this is talking about our ability to afford new debt going forward. But that's why you see such a steep drop-off. If you look at the sheet that I handed out, or at the request of Councilor McGrath Smith earlier this evening, put together, and this is based on previous versions of this have been presented to this committee. You can see, if you look at the debt ceiling capacity, you can start seeing how much it grows, and you can also see what our funding capacity starts to grow pretty much. If we took no existing new debt other than the PEC project, which we all know is not going to happen, we're going to take out new debt, but just for the hypothetical, by 2040, it's a flat debt service payment, and you can see how much our capacity is, close to $70 million in capacity. And just, I want to be very clear, our actual capacity to borrow is far greater than this. It's far greater than this. What this represents is a few years back, prior to the Peck School project coming online, when we were in front of this council, or in front of the city council, looking for the authorization, we looked at what could the city afford? What could that budget line be if we wanted to set a ceiling? And we settled on 5.5 million. There was a lot of factors that went into that. That's a number that we've been using ever since. So that means that that's annually how much we could pay. That would be our debt payment. This year, it is actually budgeted at the exact amount you see here, 4.108 75006. That's what was voted on by the council for the fiscal 26 budget, and then it rolls forward. So we can actually, based on the formulas that the state has, we can borrow a lot more than this. This is what we've said to ourselves, that this current administration has said, we don't want to do any borrowing that's going to cause our annual payments to exceed 5.5 million. And so all of this that's in front of you right now is a 30-year projection that shows how we can live within those means of 5.5 million. If we want to have if we as a city have a conversation down the road, if we need to reduce that number, or there's other budgetary relief. We all know that the pension obligation, for example, is going to fall off at a pretty steep clip at this time. Then maybe we say, you know what, we can actually afford 6 million annually or 7 million annually, or the opposite, we can say we can't afford more than 5. We can make those adjustments. So what the capacity is taking the debt ceiling, the difference between the 5.5 and what the projected budgetary amounts would be. That gets us that number. And then looking at what is it cost to borrow $1 million? What does it actually cost if we borrow $1 million? How much does that add to the budget? At, again, a very conservative rate over a 25 or 30-year window.
Okay, I've followed you on most of that, but the basic assumption here, though, is that we're not taking on any major new debt over the next 15 years.
Absolutely. Well, this is showing us a roadmap of what we can afford.
Right.
We have, so you have MSBA authorizations in front of you this evening. I do know that the mayor is intending on putting a small authorization in front of the council at their next meeting, and we'll be in at a future finance committee meeting to discuss that. There's the capital improvement plan, which is a 5-year plan, which is being worked on by Open Architects, TJ Plant's firm. We expect that group to come in and give a presentation to the council at some point in February or March. And the mayor does intend, at least what he's been talking about, and I believe has discussed with the council, intends on putting a larger funding package in front of the council again. But it's all going to be dictated by what we can afford, And if we say as a city we can't afford more than that 5.5 million, this tells us what we can actually spend based on that. So for the purposes this evening, when we think about the maximum city share, and that in and of itself is extremely conservative because of everything you've heard about how projects are coming in drastically under budget. And I mean drastically under budget based on what the original estimates are. The maximum city share is approximately 3.5 million, which, if we were to take that on, would come online in fiscal 29, and that's showing that we have a funding capacity of 14 million. So that would still give us another $9 million potentially to have online by fiscal 29 that we could afford. But those things aren't in front of the council right now, nor are there projects that that are going out to long-term debt that aren't incorporated in this model.
Okay. I've got it.
Rory?
For now.
Yeah, no, and we'll have future conversations and
Yeah,
just so we're
there's
clear,
there's a few more, but
Yeah.
not pertinent to this
sounds good.
order. Yeah.
Rory, what is our bond rating?
Right now, we have an S&P bond rating. I will tell you what it is. I know, sorry, I wasn't expecting that.
I'm sorry.
We had, they affirmed our rating last year, and we still, it's A+. We have an
A
A+
plus,
bond rating.
thank you.
Yeah, we have an A+ bond rating, and keep in mind, well, A+ sounds good, we could be better. And we should strive to be better. AAA is really what we should hope for, at some point in the future. It's going to take a number of years, but, you know, the Modernization Act that's in front of ordinance and charter
Yeah.
right now, I think is going to help with that. What is really important for both the Finance Committee and everyone else listening is that that's our city's bond rating. These projects, not just because it's an MSBA project, but all of these projects, we go in front of a state board every couple of years, and we look for their authorization as well. And what that allows for us to do is make a decision at the time of taking out long-term debt, what's going to be the better deal for the city? Should we piggyback onto the state's bond rating, or should we utilize our own bond rating? So the state bond rating is, you know, usually better. And just to put it in perspective, a recent note that we took out on short term under a state issued rating came in about 2 percentage points less than what we would have received if we had gone under the cities. I know that's a lot of moving pieces and can be a little complicated, but it's important when we're talking about the bond ratings and what it means for us as a city.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? If not, I'll hear a motion.
Motion to approve? Or not to, sorry,
No, that's correct,
to approve.
for item 3.
And send to
Is there-
full city council meeting?
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do
Okay.
we need a voice vote on these? What's that? We don't need a voice vote on, we don't need a roll call vote on these?
Yes.
Okay, well, it won't hurt to do it, so.
MSBA did.
Counselor McGrath-Smith?
My apologies. I thought that the MSBA votes required us to have a,
At the council level.
At the
It
council
does,
level.
but
Oh,
not
okay.
so much at subcommittee, but it is the will of the body, always.
Let's just do it here. Let's just.
Yeah, but we have to do it again, so we'll do it.
I just want to make sure we're doing it in the, when we need to.
I mean, if you want a roll call, we can do a roll call.
Yeah, it's usually just at city council.
Yeah.
And each motion needs to be voted on individually. You can't do it as a whole package.
Got you.
All right, so that takes care of that. Now we're on item 4.
Motion take up item 4?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. This one is for Claire Sullivan Middle School.
Yeah, and so I just wanted to kind of start off and kind of like talk about like kind of what Rory was talking about. And we think about the realm of we have to bond, right, for the total amount because that's just the way it works. But in reality, so we're going to use Sullivan, for example, the maximum facility grant is 5.1 million and the total project is 6.7. So in theory, we're only borrowing or what we have to pay back, right, is 1.6 million or 1.5 million. And that usually happens within the year, right, Rory? Once we do 10-month commissioning, I do final requisition, everything gets back to you within that first year. Once the project is done, so say we do these this summer, by next summer, the project has been fully paid out by MSBA.
Yeah, that's correct. So to that point, as I mentioned, we'll normally take out short-term notes to actually fund projects of this size. And then reimbursements come in on a rolling basis. They don't all come in at once. Once those reimbursements come in, we never take out the full amount of the project, right? We just take out what we need in order to keep the project moving forward. reimbursements come in. The fiscal year in which we're talking about right now would most likely be fiscal '28. If these projects were to be completed, start this summer, go out, have the closeouts, maybe everything by MSBA is closed out in fiscal '28. We still have that short-term note. It's about within that year, we would take out a long-term note, and then it doesn't actually become payable until the following fiscal year, which is why I was saying in our projections, we're realistically talking about fiscal '29, which sounds like a long way away, but it's right around the corner.
Any questions, anybody?
Just wondering,
Counselor McGrath Smith?
through the chair to Sean Sheedy, could you just name what the code required upgrades are at Sullivan? That
Yeah,
would
so-
go along with the partial roof replacement?
Yep, so again, so that's gonna be your full accessibility for your bathrooms, your doorways, your handrails, the fire alarm system, exterior ramps or stairs if we have a lot of classrooms, that when a classroom exits out and there's a step there, a ramp will be installed, handrails to get you down, like I said, accessible public bathrooms, an electric wheelchair lift for people to get up onto the stage, fire alarm upgrades to bring it to a modern code that'll be compliant, and then plus the roof.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve the appropriation of $6,739,962 for work at the Claire Sullivan Middle School.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Rory, I just got a quick question. For item number 2,
Yep.
when will we get that wording?
The language, it'll be on your agenda for Tuesday night. So it'll
Okay.
be filed tomorrow because we have an early agenda because of the holiday Monday.
Right.
It'll be filed under your name.
Just want to
by
make
the
sure it's
auditor.
48 hours ahead of time.
Oh, no, it's already in the works.
Okay. All right, thank you, Sean, and thank you, Rory, if you're leaving. And now Sergeant Zerhide, if you want to come in.
Motion to take up item number 5.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, that's ordered that in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53A, the City Council hereby accepts the provisions of FY 2026 State 911 Department Training Grant Program, $967.16, no match. Tell us about it.
Yes, hi, thank you, and congratulations, all the counselors on the recent swearing in.
Yeah, we have a new, yep,
Awesome, nice to meet
yeah.
you. So this grant is through the State 911 Department. We usually receive this grant every year. This grant is a no-match grant. Currently, we have 12 dispatchers employed at the Holyoke Police Department. That's a full complement. Our internal affairs lieutenant was able to fill those positions with the support of the chief. We really made some recruitment efforts. We filled our dispatch, what we haven't done in quite some time. So that has lowered some overtime costs in there. But this grant is specifically it's just under $13,000. And every year, every dispatcher that we have employed has to do 16 hours of continuing education. And they have to do it on their own time. So this grant will pay, we use Massachusetts Police Institute. There are online classes, so there's no travel costs or anything. They do it on their own time. This grant will cover all of the costs for the courses for all 12 dispatchers, and it will cover all of their overtime to do it.
Nice.
All right, questions?
No.
Motion?
Motion to accept the grant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Motion to take up item number 6.
Second.
Okay, order that in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53A, the City Council hereby accepts the provisions of FY 2026 State 911 Department Support and Incentive Grant Program, $306,443 no match grant. Sergeant.
So this one is also through the State 911 Department. It's the Support and Incentive Grant. This one is for a significant amount. It's just over $306,000, It is also a no-match grant. This one is mainly used for two things. Dispatcher upgrades, so the radios in there, the computers, the heating, AC, even the chairs that they use are quite expensive. That all can be used for this, for upgrades to the actual building facility for the dispatchers, as well as their, a portion of their salaries and their overtime is also used with these funds, which helps our line items. But just recently, we have to replace 2 of our dispatch consoles. Those 2 alone are, we have 4 of them in our station. Those 2 alone will be $60,000 just to replace those. And that's this money is what we'll be using that for.
And that's the dispatch stations, you said?
Yes, each dispatcher has their own workstation. There's 4 of them in there. And 2 of them have been having malfunctions with older equipment. They have to be replaced, and the cost, I believe, was about $60,000.
Questions? Counselor McGrath Smith?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So if it's 600, so it's $360,000?
306.
306,000.
Yeah.
And 60,000 will go to the 2 new workstations. Do you have a sense of then how the rest will be split? I heard you say salary and also overtime.
Correct. So their salaries will start being drawn down from these, from this account as well. If anyone gets held over and they have to work overtime, that normally we pay our dispatchers through our overtime line item. So it's for officers and dispatchers, anyone employed there. Their overtime only, not the officers, but their overtime will then be drawn down from this grant as well.
Nice.
Okay.
So that should, and the chief has done an amazing job in lowering our overtime spending, and this will help even more. It takes them off of our payroll for the time being while there's funds
Great.
left, and we'll draw down from that grant.
Nice.
These grants are great.
Yeah,
And we have to expend it before June 30th.
that's easy.
Yes, yeah.
Something tells me you'll do that.
We will try. We will try.
Thank you.
Anything else? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to accept the grant, State 9/11 Department Support and Accept Grant Program.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And one more for Sergeant, that ordered there be and hereby appropriated by transfer in the fiscal year 2026, $8,900 as follows, from pay police sergeant $8,900 to pay settlement sign bonus $8,900. Move we take it off the table for discussion.
So
Motion to take off the table?
Second.
Thank
For
you.
discussion, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Sergeant.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
No,
Oh, no, there's
Oh,
still,
I
we're
thought you
still-
said-
we're still on
there's-
last one.
no, this is the last one. I don't know. You want me to read the whole thing?
No, I know what it is.
Nice try, though.
Yeah.
He's trying to get off the stage.
Yes, so I'm not privy to everything with this one, but I do know the gist of it and and outside. I've been briefed on it. This 8,900 is gonna come from our police sergeant line item, and it's one of our sergeants is on, military leave.
Okay,
And this goes back multiple years. It was work done between the solicitor's office, the treasurer's office, and the solicitor's, treasurer, and personnel department. They have revamped all of our military leave policies while someone's working, what they're allowed to receive in their time that they're away. And I can get you a copy of all that. This money was actually owed to him through the city in prior, and he never received it. So we're now transferring it to this line item to pay him the funds that he was never compensated. But this was work done through months between those 3 offices and our payroll office.
Well, thank him for his service, for sure. Any questions or concern? Okay, do I hear a motion?
motion to approve the 8,900?
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. So moved. Now you can leave.
Thank you. And I
Fly, bird.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I will get you the policy. I'll send it over for the,
Please.
the new military leave
Okay.
requirements and everything.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, we have one more, but just so you'll know, take item 8 off the table.
So
Second.
moved.
Quick discussion.
Second.
I don't know if anybody at this table except me knows about half pay. And the only reason I know is because I was on the council back in 2009 when this happened, and I spoke with Tony DeLue today, and I'll read this chapter very quickly, but then I will ask for, to give it leave to withdraw, because it doesn't quite fit anymore, and I hate to use the word wicked expensive, but it's wicked expensive. Any city or town which accepts the provisions of this section may, by 2/3 vote of the city council and with approval of the mayor, increase the retirement allowance of any former employee retired under this chapter, after having served such city, town, or district for a period of not less than 25 years, to an amount not exceeding 1/2 the rate of regular compensation payable to employees of such cities, towns, or districts holding similar positions at the time of increasing such allowance in the same grade or classification occupied by such former employee at the time of his retirement. So I just wanted to read that into the record, but I would ask that we give this leave to withdraw, because the expense is just overwhelming. And it was only one person who happened to ask me about it.
If the body's okay, I'll make that motion to withdraw.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, do I hear another motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Nicole, a second.
Yay.
All those in
Aye.
favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, people online who Zoomed in. Appreciate it very much. Good meeting.